Hello everyone, it's Fiethsing here with game 1 in the series between Alex and Tim. With Alex on the left side is playing Fiethsing, while on the right side we do have Tim is playing Pricia. So this will be a Pricia against Fiethsing matchup. Now Pricia, I'm pretty sure a lot of guys should know by now, Pricia is one of those popular rules at the moment because just the fact it's so flexible in the early game, able to get that random turn to OTK. If he can't get the turn to OTK, obviously there is a strong mid to late game, but it really depends what build you're playing. The most popular build at the moment will be the Jack Giant build, just for the fact that Jack gets a hit and you get a 17-17 on the field right away, really strong against control, and not only that, it's very hard to deal with in most decks anyway because he does have precision, which is also known as target attack for those older players, able to attack anything you want, and his 17-17 on the field is not that easy to get rid of, especially in the early game. Now we do have Alex on the left side playing Fiethsing, to be more precise is Fiethsing Turbo, able to drop those early Guibas, Drakes and Titanians on the battlefield, get that strong early game pressure, because I believe, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys should know by now, Fiethsing is one of those few decks can actually compete against Pricia in the early game, just for the fact that you can drop Guiba quite early in the game and apply that early game pressure. So this will be a very interesting matchup. Both decks relies on flyers, both decks have an early game strategy and also very strong to mid to late game as well, depending what you have in hand. Other than that, let's get back to the game itself. Currently life point wise 4,000 compared to 4,000. We do have a double Guinevere on the battlefield, one on each side, but however Alex does have a token in play which does allow him to sack it away with Guinevere or using it for Adam Brawler purposes to draw cards and so on, allowing him to get that extra advantage he needs. While Alex, he does have Apollo in play, so he can dodge those burn spells or random kill spell that can actually target his Resonator and so on, so allowing him to save his Guibas from, like example, Gale Force or any such a removal that are actually played by Tim. But majority of the time at the moment, most removal will be Gale Force because it's quite strong in the mirror match, not in the against most matchup anyway. You think of it this way, Fox has flying, Guiba has flying, a lot of Resonate these days has a lot of flying, so you can use actually mainboard 2 sideboard or mainboard 2 sideboard Gale Force to put into your favor. But a lot of people these days have been mainboarding at least 1 or 2 texts in the mainboard just to draw it to put themselves in a strong advantage. Speaking of Gale Force, in comes the Gale Force trying to kill the Guiba, but again one of those Apollo will bounce back to the hand, the Guiba back to the hand, so which allows Alex to play more for next turn. So let's see now. Currently, life point wise, as I said before, 4,000 compared to 4,000, nothing has changed so far. Surprisingly, actually I should say Tim can't actually do much at the moment because he does have 1 red magic stone in play. You actually need a dual color in play in order to get the game going to your favor. But instead he's going for that mid to late game strategy at the moment, because the reason I'm saying this, he's going to mid game to late game strategy because he's actually getting more resource than usual, because usually a lot of players who tends to play Pricia tends to go focus on the turn 2 OTK, but however he's not doing it that way. He's actually like you saying, you know what, you have a Guiba, most likely you will drop it next turn because I tried to kill it because it wasn't able to get killed. I'm going to go for that mid game strategy, try to get that giant in play and put a lot of pressure on the board. But however, Alex said that, you know what, I'm going to draw for more cards, hopefully gets better cards than you, and obviously apply the pressure before you can obviously apply the pressure back to him. So both players are actually trying to get the pressure card on the battlefield. Obviously Alex tried to drop more fuel present like Guibas, Titanias and also Drakes, while Tim is trying to drop the Giant really quickly, and Giant has a very strong ability, can actually devastate the Guiba play if he doesn't have any Guibas or Drakes in Titanias in play, because the Giant can actually tap itself and burn 800 on the field for all non-flyers on the battlefield, so you can actually destroy the whole entire field that Alex has and he established on. In comes the Drake trying to take control, I believe was a Guinevere, but the Windscarf Refresh did not allow it. If you say, I know what you're gonna do, you're gonna try to steal my Gwen and Adam Brawler and burn one of my elves, and obviously Adam Brawler will give you more value than it will give me. So, but however, Alex does have the Apollo in place, so he can bounce back his try if necessary, so you can take it again next turn. So it looks like, let's see now. Guinevere tapped down, so Sacred Elf and Fiery Fox is also tapped down. So not much each other can do at the moment. So each other each player is actually trying to dig for better cards and so on. So at the moment, I say the thumbs up goes to Alex because he does have the depth side in bin, he does have the blaze in bin, which allows him to have that strong mid to late game as well. In comes another in comes another token, which does allow him to generate more resource. And in comes the Adam Broly. Let's see what he's sacrificing. It looks like he's sacrificing the Guinevere and the Triumph. So sacrifice the Guinevere, burning off that Sacred Elf, not allowing him to have any more mana. But however, we do have Tim sacrificing it with the Guinevere, which allows him to draw 2 new cards and discarding 1. Obviously, drawing cards in this game is not a bad thing because drawing more cards gives you more answers to have later on in the game. So let's see now. Tried and Guinevere gone. Let's see what can actually Alex do now. He does have the Death Sight in bin, so he can actually remove 3 cards from his graveyard to get Death Sight back to his hand, or he can actually use it for purposes for Guinevere. Obviously for discarding, because Guinevere requires discarding a card, and with Death Sight in bin, you pretty much have an unlimited resource for drawing. In comes another Adam Broly, surprisingly. Sacrificing the sacrificing the token and the Adam Broly, and dropping a Drake in play. Wow. So he actually sacrificed 1 Guinevere, 1 token, an Adam Broly, and a Triumph, so which allows him to make the fight for Drake, which is losing 4 res on the battlefield and playing a Drake in play. Now with Drake in play, that is very powerful play, obviously, because just for the fact that he does have the total fly on the field, so it is applying a pressure a lot to Tim, because Tim doesn't really have a flyer at the moment. Even he does have a flyer, it will get blocked by the Drake, so obviously making that Jack hit not available as much, unless Tim has a Gale Force in hand, which will apply the removal effect onto Drake. Field wise, Adam Broly, Guinevere, Drake compared to Firefox and Guinevere. 2 stone open for at the moment for Tim, but at the moment I haven't seen any Regalias at the moment on battlefield, to be honest, guys. Without any Regalia on the field, it's not as scary as it can be, because the only thing making Pricia very powerful at the moment is obviously the Leviathan. The Leviathan able to give Pricia swiftness, apply a lot of damage by sacking your field, doing extra damage and so on, not only that, applying the imperishable as well. So let's see what can Tim do now. We're already almost at the 8-minute mark now. Looks like, yep, he's dropping the Lave and the Horn quite late at the moment. Maybe he just drew it from the Guinevere previous turn and so on. But he does have the option to Judgment next turn. Or should I say Judgment this turn, because he has Firefox and 2 stone open. But the question is, will he do it? Because again, with that Drake in play, he won't do as much damage, but he can get rid of the field if necessary. But it really depends what Tim has. Instead of playing it, he actually played the Rig Egg and used the Guinevere to sacrifice to draw 2 cards. But however, with the Rig Egg triggering first, you're able to search the card first and then draw 2 cards. Adding Marabella in the hand, Marabella is a very strong to mid to late game, able to get those counters in play. Counters as a Whirlwind effect, you get more freeze counter, and for blasting counter, you get more like thunder attacks, or should I say lightning strikes effect to target the field and get for more removal, so applying a lot of pressure at the moment in the mid game. This card in the depth side, he doesn't need it as much, because again he can remove 3 cards to add back to his hand, and depth side isn't as valuable against Fiethsing, because unless Alex randomly drop a Lave and then Judgment into his Fiethsing Jade Roll mode, I don't think depth side will be as relevant at the moment. Tapping for another stone, giving Swapper some flying towards Firefox. So he does have a lot of mana in play at the moment. It depends what he does, to be honest. He only able to get 3 resources to get in play at the moment. So let's see now. It is quite late into the mid game now, and the longer the game goes, the better for both play, obviously. But it really depends who has the stronger field presence. But at the moment, I do give the thumbs up towards Alex, because he does have a Drake, he does have the Gwen for more draw power. Yes, both players have draw power as well, but however, the more that Alex draw into his deck, the more dragons, like such as Wyber, Drakes, and also Titanias can apply more pressure than what can Tim do, because Tim can only apply 1 pressure or 2 pressure only, which is flipping the flipping the Pricia to do a lot of damage, but that won't be available as much because again with the Drake in play he can easily block it and obviously lose to it. Not only that, he doesn't have the capacity to drop Jack as well. Well, he did drop Jack, but won't be as effective as much because the fact that with the Drake in play, you can easily block it when Jack is flying. So that's mainly the main issue at the moment. But now it's back to Alex's turn. Alex can apply more pressure, playing the playing the Rook Egg, sacking away with the Guinevere, but before Rook Egg resolve. Obviously using Depth Sight, removing 3 cards from the bin to add it back to his hand before the draw effect of Guinevere, so which allows him to discard the card as a cost, well not as a cost but as the end of the effect of Guinevere. So again getting 2 new cards to his hand for no reason. So now I think Tim is debating whether to use Horn to shuffle his opponent's graveyard back to his hand, but again in response he can obviously Alex can respond back to the Horn to remove 3 more cards, so technically removing 6 cards from his graveyard to add back to Depth Sight, so it won't be as much difference. So making Tim losing the Horn is kind of relevant, but at the moment it seems that Tim is not using the Horn, saving for later in the game. Not only that, he can actually play the Depth Sight right now by Alex to saying that, you know what, you have the Lave, you have the Horn, so you can randomly OTK me if you have the Gale Force in hand as well. So if I play the Depth Sight right now, you cannot do anything. But it really depends if Alex needs the Depth Sight right now. He can remove 3 more cards to add back Depth Sight. I'm pretty sure he's going to discard the Depth Sight later after this. Adding the Guinevere to hand, which allows him to get more draw power. Not only that, I guess he can use it as a discard fodder for Guinevere later on in the game, but it really depends on to Alex. This kind of Depth Sight obviously doesn't need it as much because Depth Sight is valuable, but however he can actually get it back to his hand because he does have a lot of cards in his graveyard. Playing the glimpse of Valentina. I can't remember the what do we call it, the regalia name, but I do know it belongs to Valentina 1.0. So what it does is it has a couple of effects. The first effect, you can tap it to force a resonant your opponent's side to forcefully block it. So if your opponent attacks with a 10-10 and you have a resonate is forced to block and you're an 8-8, too bad, you don't really have a choice, you have to sacrifice you have to do the block and get rid of it. Not only that, you can discard another copy from your hand to draw 1 card. I don't think that is relevant as much unless you're playing some kind of combo oriented deck. Most regalias, if it has some kind of draw effect, it's mostly a combo based deck. Example, Tree OTK back in 2015, or also 2016, not 2015, why say 2015 for? 2016 for Tree OTK and 2017 for Chronos FTK. So it really depends. Most of the time you only use it for tapping ability to force your opponent to discard, to force your opponent to block, but majority of the time if you're playing a combo deck, that's what the regalia is for. So field wise, Guinevere, Drake, Token, and a Adam Brawler compared to 1 Jack, 1 Adam Brawler, one Fiery Fox, and also 1 Guinevere. Tapping free. What is tapping free for? Oh, he's tapping free for Tatiana, so getting more pressure on the board. Not only that, Adam Brawley is actually sitting on 8-10 at the moment because Tatiana allows him to boost all water, all flying resident of the field by +2/+2. Now that Drake is sitting on 14-14. I believe flying and water as well. I could be wrong, but sitting on 14-14 at the moment, applying a lot of pressure at the moment. It's Drake's 14-14, the Vibe is 14-14. Adam Brawley is 8-10, very strong at the moment. Not looking too good at the moment for Tim. Now, I did notice that Alex didn't use the Depth Sight. I'm pretty sure he doesn't need it right now because even if Tim Judgment at this point in time, he cannot get rid of the Guiba or Tatiana at the moment. Well, from my point of view, I'm assuming, because unless if he Judgment, that is a good indication that he might have double Gale Force in hand. But if he doesn't have double Gale Force in hand, then obviously it won't be as effective. So let's see what can Tim do in this situation. He only has a Guinevere and a Firefox, a Leviathan, and a Horn, which doesn't really do much in this situation because again, Alex is applying a lot of pressure with field pressure with the lot of flyers and so on. And again, he does have double Guinevere on the battlefield. He can draw technically 4 cards if necessary to. and then he does have the token later on to block or sack whatever he needs to for. So let's see now. Currently life point wise 4,000 compared to 4,000. Nothing has changed so far after 15 minutes, so it's not looking too well for Tim, because without any early game damage, it's gonna be a lot harder for Tim to kill Alex at this range, because again, Alex can easily one hit KO at Tim at any point in time, because he has 3 flyers, and each flyer is at least 12-12, so 1 Guiber, 1 Drake, those are 14-14 each. That's a total of 28 damage on the boat, and if Titania hits, that's a total of 4,000 damage. So it really depends what can Tim do in this situation. He needs to apply some, put any flyers on the battlefield to at least defend against those resonators. If not, it's not looking too good at all. So let's see. Tim is thinking about his play. He does have a Jack in the hand, but however, as I said before, Jack can be irrelevant at this point in time. Again, like, what can Jack do against a Guiber and a Titania untapped? Obviously, he can't really do much unless, again, he has a Gale Force in hand. That's the only way he can get out of this situation. Playing a Rook Egg, using Guinevere to sacrifice the Rook Egg to search a card and then draw 2 cards. But I'm not sure what can Tim search into, because I don't think anything he can search into can help him at the moment, unless he wants to add a Giant to his hand, or technically I'm wrong, he can actually add a Goddess to his hand and then shoot one of the flyers away. But no, he's actually adding the Fire Fox, so it indicates to me that, from my point of view, he might already have the Goddesses in his hand. The Goddess allows him to remove or actually kill a card on the battlefield, because what it does is that you can remove up to 2 cards from your graveyard, and you can deal X damage to your opponent's Resonator. The X equal to times 200 damage onto the X equal to the onto the onto the total cost of it. For example, if you remove a Resonator with 5 costs, and it does 1,000 damage directly, because it's 200 damage for each cost it has. So before using the draw effect from Guinevere, draw effect that is, remove 3 cards from the graveyard for depth side to discard as a cost. And it looks like, oh, that's pretty bad. It looks like he drew double Giant, which is the worst scenario you want to draw into, because again, you're already at least, let's see now, he only has 4 mana, so obviously he cannot play the Giant anytime soon. Not only that, all his Jack in his deck and in his hand are quite dead as well, because unless he can actually put these back to the deck, it can be irrelevant at this point in time. So not looking too good at the moment for Tim. Almost at the 20-minute mark now, but we are seeing a lot of pressure applying towards Tim without any flyers on the battlefield. They is already 4,000 damage on the battlefield, if not more, because again, Guinevere can tap itself and pay 1 red to give a Resonant on the battlefield +4/+4, and then obviously it dies right away. But if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. So let's see now. Field wise, 1 Lave, 1 Horn, 1 Guinevere, 1 Firefox, compared to 1 Token, 1 Drake, 2 Guineveres, 1 Adam Brawley, 1 Tatiana, and also 1 Wyber. Compared also against 1 Apollo and 1 Glimpse. Let's see, it looks like he's paying 3, obviously sacrificing one of the stone to actually allow him to get more resource. So he chooses the color red, I believe, and green. Obviously, stone goes to grave, draw a card, because obviously when the Memorial Stone leaves the battlefield in any single way to a non-field zone, which is the graveyard, remove power, and Magic Stone area, which allows him to draw 1 card. And the deck as well, if you return to the bottom of the deck. Not sure if I mentioned that. Playing 3, he does have it, but I'm not sure how much damage he can do. Let's see what he's removing. He's removing 2 Jacks, so that's doing a total of, I believe, 12 damage. So that's easily KO the Tatiana and making less pressure for Tim to deal with. In comes the Apollo, bouncing back to Tatiana. Yep, he does target the Tatiana. So now he is in a better position than before. At least he won't die right away from the flyers and so on. Giving swiftness and flying towards the Goddesses, but I don't think that's as relevant as much, because the Guiber is still in play, so not really much he can do about it. So let's see now. Again, life point wise is still 4,000 compared to 4,000. In comes the Sacred Elf. I think Sacred Elf is not as relevant now, because it's mostly relevant in the early game, but he can use it as a blocker against the non-flyers. But if I was Tim, I wouldn't tap the Firefox right away, because the Firefox is one of those defensive cards you can have. You can tap it, sacrifice a stone, and if you hit a green source, most likely you will. Obviously you have 2 red basic stone in the main board, but that's 2 out of 10 chances you have, or 2 out of whatever chances you have left in your magic stone deck that will not give a flying. So I will keep the Firefox untapped if I was Tim. So let's see now, back to Alex's turn. Now Alex can apply a lot of pressure on the board. Obviously without any flyers for Tim, he can easily take all damage and so on, so he can easily do 24 damage at the moment, at this point in time, unless Alex wants to drop another drop the Titania from his hand, again, which is really easy by tapping 3 resonate and paying 1 blue. Able to drop that 12/12, which boosts all water resonator and flying resonator by +2/+2, so making those Drake and Wyvers 14/14 instead. So let's see what he can do in this point of time. Attacking directly with the Drake, and he does take it, which does put Tim down to 2,800 life points compared to Alex's 4,000 life points. Attack directly with the token. Interesting. Maybe he just want to apply a lot of pressure, but the token can't really do any damage at all, because he can easily get blocked by the goddesses or the Sacred Elf. But it looks like he would just want to force out the block, so making life a lot easier for Alex to handle the situation. So easily can actually do a lot of damage on the board. Because at this point in time, Alex can actually wipe his own entire board by attacking into Tim's Resonator if necessary. But if I was Alex, I would just apply the pressure right now. You can't do much. You have Titania in your hand, and you have another Wyvern in the hand as well, so you can easily fulfill that condition and apply a lot of damage to the board. So let's see what can Alex do in this current time. Again, 4,000 compared to 2,800 life point. Not much has changed as much. Again, Alex can apply a lot of pressure at this point in time towards his opponent. While Tim is not in the best position at the moment, but however, if he can get this around and so on, he can put the favor into himself. Because again, randomly, Pricia can just randomly OTK you out of nowhere. If he can just randomly God Arc as well, all his Resonator can gain swiftness of flying until end of the turn, which applies Resonator that comes out next after, like the God Arc and so on. So let's see what can Alex do. It seems that Alex is kind of worried at the moment, but I don't think he is worried too much. He does have the Death Sight in the bin to search out of it, not search it, add it back to his hand by removing 3 more cards. But it is quite low in his graveyard at the moment, so he doesn't want to recklessly remove too much, because if he removes too much, his Death Sight cannot get as much value as he wants to be. So let's see now. Not looking too good at the moment, and so on. 4,000 compared to 2,800 life point. He does play the goddesses, trying to remove the Firefox, interestingly. So try and give less mana to play with for Tim. So targeting this card on the field and try and get removed from the battlefield. Let's see. Yep, he does get removed. Well, not removed, get out of the way. So playing a Death Sight now, obviously now that Lave is not as painful or not as threatening, shall I say. And then in comes the Wyver as well, just adding more insult after insult. So double Wyver, a Drake. It's kind of painful, I don't know about for you guys. Forcing the Sacred Elf to block, so he's going to attack with something big most likely, and the Sacred Elf will die. Unless Tim taps off for a resource that obviously he can, the Sacred Elf doesn't die from that. Sacking the token to draw 2 new cards, but before the draw phase or draw effect, adding the Death Sight to hand for more value out of it. He does have a Blaze in the bin, which surprisingly haven't used yet, so maybe he doesn't need it at this point in time, where it does require 6 mana. I think 2 black, 2 red, and 2 colors, or it could be 3 black and 3 red, I can't remember on top of my head, but it does require at least 6 resources. So attack directly with the Adam Brawley, but however, tapping down the Sacred Elf to produce 1 green to avoid the forcible block. So instead of killing the Resonator, he does take 600 damage instead, which does put Tim down to 2,200 life points compared to Alex 4,000. Let's see. we're already at the 24-minute mark now. It's getting quite late in the game, and if I was Tim, I would scoop it up right here, because again, you are facing against time, because you only have 6 minutes in a round and we're already close to 25 minutes now. And I'd rather give up the win here, because there's no way you can win at this point in time unless he has a perfect answer against this entire board, which is double Guiber, a Drake, Adam Broly, 2 Gwens, and a Goddesses on the battlefield. Unless you have some kind of like powerful play at this point in time, if you don't, I'll just say scoop it up and save that last 35 minutes for the next game, because at least the next game you have a high chance of doing, or even a slightly better chance of winning game 2 and maybe force a game 3 and perhaps force a draw after this. But let's see now. Not much Tim can do at this point in time. He can drop the Marabella if necessary to get a lot of those blast counter, but those blast counter cannot help against this situation at the moment, because you need a total, at least, let's see now, to do 15 damage on the ball you need 3 blasting counters, and obviously Alex has 3 flying resin on the battlefield, so you need a total of 9 counters in order to actually make this effective at all. And without the Firefox and so on, you can't be as effective as you wanted to be, because without Firefox you can actually cycle stone after stone after stone to gain a lot of benefit on the Marabella. But speaking of Firefox, he does play Firefox in play for more defensive purposes, I believe, but I don't think Firefox can do much in this current time at the moment. But again, he can use it for defensive purposes by tapping it, sacrificing a stone, and hopefully getting a Windstone on top of the deck and give something flying on the battlefield to block with. So the advantage does go to Alex, as I mentioned before, with the field present and so on. He's discussing about something, I don't know what he's discussing about, but he's thinking about something to handle the field and so on. But we do notice that Tim does have a lot of cards in hand, but if you can't play those cards and apply the pressure on the field, with that many cards in hand, it doesn't really matter. So what can Tim do? I'm not too sure, to be honest. He can J-activate, but again the depth size is already in play, so you won't able to get swiftness and so on, so you can't gain much out of it. So let's see. 4,000 compared to 2,200 life points. Field-wise, 2 Guivers, 1 Drake, 2 Guinevere's, 1 Adam Broly, and 1 Goddesses, compared to 1 Goddesses, 1 Gwen, 1 Secret, 1 Firefox, and 2 Regalias, which is Horn and Lave. Tim is still thinking about his play. To be honest, as I mentioned before, I will scoop it up right here, right now, because you cannot really do much unless I've said before, unless you draw some kind of big out, maybe like triple Gale Force or some way to get rid of those flyers. Giving swiftness and flying towards Firefox. He can tap for stone, sacrificing it. Hopefully drawing a better answer, because he is sacrificing the Memorial Stone, which allows him to draw cards to draw a better answer. Hopefully he does draw some kind of answer, because he's not looking too good at the moment, guys. He is not in the best position at the moment, which is kind of obvious. Let's see. What can Tim do now? The only situation I think is that Tim can maybe perhaps, it's a tough call, guys. Unless he draw Gale Force, there's no, I don't think there's another out against this like perfect board present. Like again, the reason why he has Alex has a perfect board present because Tim tried to kill those flying resonators. It's just the fact that Alex had those Apollo in play, which bounced back to his hand, so he can apply more pressure later on. So which is kind of bad at the moment for Tim. So yeah, paying 1 to play Rook Egg, sacrificing Rook Egg. I'm pretty sure he's trying to dig for Gale Force at this point in time, because that's the only reason why I see why you playing Rook Egg, searching and drawing, and hopefully drawing to a Gale Force. That's what I'm assuming he's trying to do. Try and draw those multiple Gale Force and then get rid of those Vibers and Drake, and then apply the pressure. I think that's his current strategy at the moment. So removing 3 cards. Adding a Guinevere to hand, because he can play a Guinevere for this play, and then play on the field, and hopefully next turn before anything happens, draw 2 more cards, and hopefully draw into a Gale Force. So I think he's just trying to dig for Gale Force at this point in time, because again, I don't think there's a way for Tim to get out of this sticky situation at the moment, because on the board at the moment it's more than enough to kill Tim with any range, because 2 Guibers or 1 Drake, 1 Guiber is more than enough to get rid of his opponent's life point. Paying 1, paying 2, playing the Winter card Refuge to draw a card again. I'm sure he's just trying to dig for more Gale Force at this point in time. He only has 2 mana open, so well, 1 now, 1 mana open to drop a Guinevere. Even he does draw a Gale Force, he only can use Gale Force once, and he can only kill a Drake or a Guiber, and 1 Guiber or 2 Guibers and a double attack in the air is more than enough, as I said before, to take down Tim's life point to 0. But what can Tim do now? Tim does have a lot of hand advantage, which is great to know, but if you can't do anything, you can't do anything. So during the draw phase for Alex, sacrificing the Sacred Elf to draw 2 new cards, hopefully draw into a Gale Force or something on those lines, and discarding the Death Sight, and no Death Sight. It looks like Tim is scooping it up. Yep, Tim is scooping up, and he's saying that, you know what, I can't win in this situation any single way, so let's go to game 2. Okay, now welcome back to game 2 now. With game 1 in the belt for Alex, he doesn't have as much pressure at the moment, because he does have game 1 in his belt, as I mentioned before. Even he doesn't do well in game 2, he does have the option for game 3 to go first or second, which does give him the upper hand he needs. But however, on Tim's end, it is a different story. He has to win game 2 in order to force the game 3, and when forcing in game 3, he can win in game 3 if necessary, if he has the right cards in hand, or at least force the draw, so making it as a draw, so pretty much he's not losing any point, at least he's getting some points out of this. So currently light point wise 4,000 compared to 4,000, field wise 1 Guinevere, 1 token, 1 Depth Sight compared to 1 Guinevere, 1 Depth Sight, and a Horn. I believe that Tim dropped the Regalas too early in the game, to be honest, because at the moment he didn't drop any Lave, so pretty much dropping the 2 Regalas in play is kind of irrelevant for Alex, because Alex can capitalize and say that you drop a Horn, you drop a Depth Sight, which is irrelevant to my Fiethsing, because I don't have Lave in my deck, perhaps, and your Horn doesn't do much to me at this point in time, and it doesn't help you in any single way either until the mid to late game. So you play 2 dead cards in play, and you have a Gwen, which allows you to draw some cards, so which might be irrelevant. So by dropping those 2 cards in play, which is the Horn and the Depth Sight, so early in the game against the irrelevant deck, you're letting your opponent know that you have limited cards now to play with, because you have less option now, unless those 2 cards in hand are very powerful, like a Gale Force and a Jack in hand. That's the only time I can say that is pretty much you drop those, it's okay. But even then, if it was me, I wouldn't drop the Lave, I wouldn't drop the Depth Sight or the Horn right away, just for the fact that at least I have 2 more cards in hand to bluff against my opponent. I say that, well, if you drop any Guibers, I can draw Gale Force, that with that many cards in hand, there is a higher chance of me having it. But now if you drop the 2 Regalas against an irrelevant deck, your opponent will think, well, what are the chances of you having a Gale Force and a Jack in hand? Quite low. So obviously at this point in time, as you can see, Alex is going very aggressive now, applying a lot of pressure, dropping the Guiber, getting a token, dropping the Regag to get searchability from the Guinevere after drawing, so on. Now field wise, we have a Guinevere, Regag, Karma, token, Guiber, and a Depth Sight compared to 1 Guinevere, 1 Firefox, 1 Depth Sight, and 1 Horn. So not looking too good at the moment for Tim. Depends what he draws and depends what he has in his hand. I can't see from this point. So let's see what can Tim do in this situation. So he can perhaps draw more cards later with the Guinevere, which allows him to dig into Gale Force, so he can get rid of that Guiber. So let's see. I can't really see much in this hand. Wait, I see a Gale Force and a Jack, which is a very perfect opportunity for Tim to apply his own pressure to his opponent. So at this point in time, he has 3 mana, which is the Firefox and 2 Magic Stone open. So he can tap 1 red and 1 green, and obviously the worst scenario is that he get a second basic red Magic Stone, which is kind of bad because for Jack to be played on the battlefield, you need double green. So the worst scenario is that he sack a stone, which will get him a red basic Magic Stone, if that's the worst scenario. That would be a very low chance of happening because there is 1 in like 7 chance now of having that red basic stone on top of the deck. So let's see. What can Tim do now? As I said before, Tim can do that optimal play which I just mentioned, sacrificing a stone, producing 1 red, 1 green, and hopefully the top card is a Wind Magic Stone, some sort of jewel stone, a jewel Magic Stone, and then get the 2 greens and 1 red to play the Jack, and tap your ruler for hopefully getting a jewel stone again, give you swiftness of flying towards your Jack, attack directly and so on, and using the Gale Force in hand to get rid of the Wyvern when declaring a block. So then getting the Giant out in play, and the Giant can cause a lot of problem for Alex because the fact that none of Alex resonate on the board besides Wyvern are flyers, so pretty much the Giant can freely just nuke the whole entire field, and then leaving with Alex with nothing. So let's see now. Sacrificing the Memoria to draw a stone and draw a card. So let's see. Looks like he did get a dual color stone, so he can play the Jack at the moment, but it depends when he taps his ruler, will he get a basic Magic Stone. If he does get the basic Magic Stone, he only gains swiftness to the Resonator, and obviously we can predict that Alex can play very safe and block with the Rook Egg, and not giving the chance that for his opponent to respond with a with anything, especially Gale Force into the Wyvern. Playing the Jack. Now here is the moment of truth. Does he get the Jewel Stone? Does he get the red basic Magic Stone? Nope, he got the red Jewel Stone. The Jewel Stone giving swiftness and flying towards Jack. So now that Jack can easily apply a lot of pressure, and with that Gale Force in hand, no problem at all. Declaring a block with the Wyvern, and in comes the Gale Force. Without the Apollo, can't really do much from here. But before the Wyvern dies, he does use Guinevere to draw 2 new cards and discarding 1. But I'm surprised that he didn't discard the Bear Magic, because Bear Magic is kind of irrelevant at this time because Bear Magic cannot target his opponent's Giant because he has Barrier from Chant, and not that he has Precision as well. So Precision, which is also known as Target Attack for those older players that went to my channel or goes to my channel, with the Target Attack he can attack to anything he wants, and not that he can actually tap his Resonator, which is his Giant, to nuke, do 800 AoE damage on the board. Currently life point wise 3,200 compared to 4,000 life point. Obviously life point wise is going towards Tim, but however, does that Giant stay on the field long enough? Because if Alex gets some kind of blue resource, he does have the option, or he does have the chance of us dropping the Triton and stealing the Giant away, and obviously using the Giant against his opponent. I don't see any Triton in hand, so most likely no. So let's see now. Tapping for another stone, he does have a blue resource, but looks like he's trying to dig for the Triton by using the Rook Egg and Guinevere combos by sacrificing the Rook Egg with the Guinevere, so he can search a card to deck fin and draw 2 more cards, hopefully drawn to the Triton because he does have blue resource. He does have the red blue stone and the Ruler's Memoria in play. So let's see what can Alex do in this current situation. We see that Triton on the bottom of the deck right now. He just wished that, oh come on, believe in the heart of the cards, let me draw into that 1 card I need with that 2 draw power from Guinevere. Or he can drop a Tama, hopefully draw another one as well, so we shall see. So let's see, field wise, Guinevere, Tama, Token, Depth Side compared to a Giant, Firefox and a Guinevere, and 1 Lave, 1 Horn, and 1 Depth Side. I don't believe he drew into the Triton. He drew Adam Brawley and a Regalia, which isn't as helpful. Discarding the Bear Magic, noticing the Bear Magic is irrelevant against the Giant matchup, unless you want to, I don't know, turn your Wyvern into a 4/4 Bear and putting within range for the Giant's AoE damage, which you will not do unless he's want to troll, but which I doubt. He drops another Regalia in play, gaining more, forcing the Resident to block and so on, but I don't think you want to really force that Giant to block, because it is a 17-17, unless you draw into the... Actually, I don't think he has enough for the Goddesses to get rid of the Giant, so looks like the Goddesses won't be as helpful at this point in time. So let's see. I think during the end phase, I think that's the end phase, using the removal ability for massive AoE from the Giant, so trying to nuke 4 cards, no 5 cards from the battlefield, so leaving with Alex with nothing, wide open for a 17 direct damage, which does put Alex down to 15 if it successfully connects. The Guinevere is back. Oh, don't know why it's back. For those who don't know, Guinevere, by tapping it and banishing a Resonate, it is a cost, so the Guinevere shouldn't be here unless he actually taps it to banish the Fiery Fox. I think that's what he did. I wasn't paying attention. So the AoE is successful, killing 5 cards that Alex control and killing 2 cards that what do you call it? Tim controls. Does he drop the Drake? Nope, the Rig Egg. Also, well, it wasn't the end phase then. I see what he's trying to do. He was trying to kill the field before Wyber comes in play, and risking the fact that his opponent doesn't have a Drake. I guess you can't get away with that. So yeah, I don't see a problem with that. But let's see now. With that Giant wide open direct attack, it is possible. Can do 17 damage on the field, leaving not a good position for Alex. Dude, I see another Jack in Tim's hand, so he can't possibly drop another Jack, and then obviously tap a stone and give a Jack swiftness and do 800 damage to get a Giant out and swing with that the Giant that doesn't have summoning sickness to do a lot of pressure on the board, doing 25 damage if he does do that play. But however, we do have free stone open, so let's see what he can do. Now with that Death Sight in play, obviously Tim cannot do much against it, because with the Death Sight in play, he can't gain Impressionable, he can't gain Swiftness, so he can't do his aggressive plays and safe plays as well. So let's see now. So obviously he will attack with the Giant, right? Or he can tap a stone, give the Giant Swiftness of flying attack in the air. The Rookie is in play, obviously. So let's see. So Tim is thinking about his strategy at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that you don't Judgment, because if you Judgment at this point in time, what's the point, to be honest? Unless he can do some kind of crazy power play at the moment. So, yep. Looks like he does decide to Judgment. Yeah, he decided to Judgment, using the enter effect from Pricia to spin a stone back to the bottom and getting a new stone. All he needs now is a green red stone, and oh, that sucks. He got a red basic magic stone. Now, for those who don't know, in order to activate God Arc, you must get a green and a red magic stone on the battlefield for this turn in order to enable God Arc. Now without that, it's almost literally impossible for you to enable God Arc at this point in time. So I think what he really wants is to enable the God Arc. So let's see now. Well, actually he does want another Windstone at this point in time, I guess, because sorry about that, that was my phone. I think he wants a Windstone, so I do see a high Heavenly Gust in his hand, so he wants to get rid of that Death Sight to gain Swiftness, because his Pricia at the moment is sitting on 16 damage, and obviously combined with the 17 damage from the Giant, that is at least, let's see, 16 plus 17, 33 damage on board, more than enough to take care of Alex's life point. But however, Alex does have a blocker, so he's either taking the 16 or the 17, but sadly he did not get the green stone he wanted, so the Heavenly Gust will be not successful at this point in time. So 32,000 compared to 4,000 life point. not 32,000, 3,200 compared to 4,000 life point. We're already at the 44-minute mark now, almost close to 45-minute. Time is ticking for Tim at the moment because that is almost timed around. He literally only has 15 minutes left. If the 15 minutes is up, then it does go to time. And if you cannot finish the game in any time soon, the win does go to Alex by default. Let's see now. At the moment, it seems that the pressure is getting to Tim because all he has to do is attack and attack with his just attack with his giant or something, and hopefully his opponent doesn't block. But he can Godok, to be honest. He can randomly Godok and just give his giant flying and just swing directly for 17 in the air. He has that possibility. But no, he decided just to pass turn for now and playing it safe. So looks like Alex dodged the bullet over here, unluckily hitting that basic red magic stone. So let's see now. 3,200 compared to 4,000 life point. I do see a lot of cards that Alex can do at the moment, but strictly limited at the moment because that giant is 17-17. That Pricia is sitting on 10-10 and potentially becomes a 14-14 or 16-14 with damage, a lot of damage on the board. Yeah, and not only that, it's pretty much Alex is on a time ticking clock because as soon as he's past his turn, that Pricia singly alone can take out Alex's life point from 3,200 to 0 with that pump from those regalias. So even Bear Magic is completely useless at the moment. Wait, Bear Magic his own Rook Egg? Oh, I'm not sure why he is Bear Magic his own Rook Egg unless he has Heavenly Gust in play, forcing the Giant to block. Okay, I cannot see the play from there. Wait, what? Oh yeah, the Rook Egg can attack now because it doesn't have the cannot attack him because it turned into a bear. So now the egg hatched into a 4/4 bear. I don't know how I feel about that. So the Rook Egg dies, so no search ability is capable at this point in time. So I don't see the play at the moment. I really do not see the play at the moment. He has 3 stones open. 4 stones open now. So yeah, I really do not see the play at the moment. Maybe you guys can see it. Bearing the Rook Egg. I really do not see that play. The only reason I don't see it because I really do not see it. Unless he has Heavenly Gust in hand, that's the only reason you will do it. Because if you do not have Heavenly Gust, I do not see why you bear your own Rook Egg and making a 4/4 vanilla. And forcing the tap down on the giant, which is I guess he just forced the tap down, so making that it's irrelevant for his opponent to AoE the field, so making life a lot easier for Alex to play his Wyverns and Drakes. Paying 3, dropping the Goddesses, so obviously the Goddesses will kill the Pricia. I think he removed a Wyver and a Tama, doing 11 damage directly to... Did he remove a Tama? I can't see it because I saw he touching the Tama, so that might be a minor misplay because he does have the Regalia. And wait, what? Wait. Okay, I'm completely confused now. What was that play? So he's giving his ruler imperishable, which is impossible because depth size in play, and unless his opponent move a Wyver and an Broly or something very big, more than enough to kill the Pricia, you could have just easily tapped down one of your pump regalias to give a +2/+2 in order to survive, because I'm pretty sure he removed a Tama and a Wyver. So oh no, Alex, don't tell me you did not notice your depth sight. Please do not tell me you did not notice your depth sight. Please don't. But however, the field does have 2 Wyvers and an Adam Broly compared to a Giant, and the Giant does have precision, so he can attack into one of those Wyvers. Paying 2. Okay, I think Alex did not catch the fact that you have a depth sight in play. Yeah, I think he didn't catch he had a Death Sight in play. Yeah, he didn't. There's no reason why your opponent's judgment again when your Death Sight literally removes imperishable and swiftness. So I'm assuming at this point in time, A, either Alex forgot he has a Death Sight, or B, he forgets that Death Sight doesn't give imperishable as well. But however, let's see how this turns out. Will this turn the tide to Tim's favor, because he still has to get rid of those double Wyvern and the Adam Broly, and that single giant, I'm not sure it's more than enough to get rid of this build. So yeah, let's see now. I really want to know what's going on now. So currently life point wise 3,200 compared to 4,000 life point. Field wise, Adam Broly, 2 Wyverns, 1 Death Sight. That should not allow that Pricia to come back, but yeah, let's say that. 1 Death Sight, 1 Apollo, 1 Glimpse, compared to 1 Giant, 1 Pricia on the battlefield, and 2 Regales, which is 1 Horn and 1 Death Sight. So let's see now. What can actually Tim do in this situation? Heavenly Gust. So he's gonna kill. So he's gonna kill 1 card because he hasn't played any card this turn. So I think Tim did a misplay, said that I didn't play a 2nd card this turn. He might have a Regalia in hand, so to destroy all his opponent's Regalias. But however, the play has been done, killing the Death Sight. Okay, I'm pretty sure Alex did not know that his Death Sight gives no imperishable as well. Such a sad time and a bad time not remembering the Death Sight, because that Pricia is kind of threatening with that levitating just coming to play. Kind of scary at the moment. And knowing that it's actually pumped twice before recovery as well, so it's sitting on 14-14, which is literally impossible. Again, as I said before, the Pricia should not be alive, it should be dead. I mean, dead. It cannot come back unless he somehow healed it. Let's see. What can he actually do? I think attacking directly. Yeah, he's attacking directly with the Giant. So let's see now. Attack directly, putting a stone back to the bottom of the deck, and getting another stone out. So to obviously more random mana ramp, and attacking for 14. We are getting close to the 1 hour mark now, which is only 1 hour per the round, and not looking too good. We're already sitting at 52-minute mark now, so he only has 8 minutes before it goes to the time, and once it does go into time, that will be a real issue. So let's see. Tapping the Lave and the Horn, so doing 18 damage, sorry. Doing 18 damage, which does put Alex down to 14 life points. Because I'm pretty sure, no, he's actually doing 16 damage. Okay, now I see it, 16 damage. So not taking the whole entire damage, because if he does, if Tim did tap down all his all his Regalias on his opponent's turn, he can't actually tap it back in response when Wyvern attacks directly into Pricia, and because Pricia is sitting on 14-14 and the Wyvern is sitting on 12-12, it would not kill it. So it looks like passing turn, doing 16 damage on the board, putting down to 16 life for Alex compared to Tim's 4,000 life point. So in this point in time, I don't think Alex can do much now, because his 2 Wyverns not enough to do enough from reach his opponent's life point from 4,000 to 0, unless he has Banzai attack or something on this line to actually do it, but even then I really doubt it. So let's see now, removing 3 cards to add a Death Sight back to hand. Looks like just putting on the field now. Not too relevant unless he noticed now that he can't gain imperishable. No, he's actually using Heavenly Gust, nuking the whole entire field of Regalia to his opponents. But however, tapping the 2 Death Sight and Horn, and obviously pumping the Pricia +2/+2, so 2 each, so 14-14. Then using the Horn to actually put the rest of the cards from the graveyard back to the deck. By the looks of it, he actually sacrificed his Lave as well to give his Jailer imperishable as well, which again you cannot gain imperishable with Death Sight in play. But I think Alex does not notice that at the moment, that his Death Sight doesn't give imperishable to his opponent. This might bite him in the ass, to be honest, because again, that Pricia should be dead long time ago. Very long time ago. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just the nerves kicking in at the moment in the point of time, because it is a big event. I can't believe Alex actually misplayed that. He didn't notice. So yeah, let's see now. 3 cards in hand for Tim, 1 card in hand for Alex. He does have 2 Wyvers, but the 2 Wyvers cannot actually do much. He cannot kill anything that Tim's has at the moment, because again, 2 Wyvers trading off for Pricia, and then obviously Pricia can just tap a stone, giving the giant Swiftness and flying and fly above his opponent and kill it, or he can allow his opponent to use Godok, which is even worse. So yeah, it really depends now. What can wait, why are you attacking to the Pricia? If I was actually, wait, is he actually trying to trade off? I don't think that's a good worth trade, to be honest. Yeah, I think Alex did another misplay. Why would you sacrifice the Wyber? Unless he miscount his opponent's life point onto, I mean not life point, the defense on the Pricia, which is sitting on 14-14 against the 12-12, which still survives unless you trade off with the other Wyber. Even if you do, the Giant's sitting on 17-17, and that's more than enough to wipe the life point down. And he's passing turn? Okay, I'm really confused now. He should have just left the 2 Wyvers in play and obviously double block the, or single block the one of the Pricia attack, and then block the Giant attack next turn as well with the other Wyber. But even then, not leaving the best position for Alex with a token and a Giant and a Adam Brawley, should I say. Speaking of Adam Brawley, he did hardcast Adam Brawley in the battlefield for actual defense attack, so defending against his opponent. So not looking too good at the moment, guys. Not looking too good. We're already going to time soon, so I'm pretty sure, I'm very confident to say that Tim has this in the bag. All he has to do is swing with Pricia, Godok, give a flying, so making his Adam and his opponent's token cannot block, so only the Wyber can block. And even you do block and kill the Pricia, the Giant is still able to attack in the air, and you cannot block with anything else. That really sucks for Alex at the moment, because this Pricia should be dead, as I mentioned before, a long time ago, very long time. But yeah, I think just the misplay caused the game going to Tim's favor at the moment. So attacking directly for 10, using paying 1 for, I'm pretty sure, green, obviously. Hopefully does not hit another basic stone. If there's no basic stone, he cannot Godok. Income moment truth. Nope. He can Godok now, so paying 1 green, 1 red, Godoking for the Pricia to recover. So now the attack is going directly to his opponent's life point. So he only has 1 block at the moment, which is his Wyver to block the Pricia, but he has nothing else to block the Giant. So it's safe to say that that is the game, guys. So yeah, that is the game. Thank you for watching. Thank you, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it, and this will be a draw. So hope you guys enjoy for next round.